I was still jamming and y'all weren't. Sorry. How is everybody tonight? Welcome to Leslie Raye's Crafty Gig. My name is Leslie Raye, and tonight I want to share with you the art of Zentangle. Many people are already familiar with Zentangle, and I just kind of have been doing it for a little over a year, I guess, and I really enjoy it. I am not a certified Zentangle artist. You can be certified to do this and teach, but I have not gotten certified. One day it would be cool to go learn from the masters and become a Zentangle teacher. But the Zentangle movement in no means has to, you don't have to be a professional to do this. The best part about it is that anybody can do it one stroke at a time. Anything is possible one stroke at a time. And that's what's the beauty of it. The creators are Maria and Rick, and they were sitting around one day and doing some design work, and all of a sudden, you know, realized that what they were doing was doodling with a purpose. The purpose being to relax and breathe and just let loose. And so they created some very specific tangles, the original Zentangles, and they put together a book and a class and all this stuff. Well, as Christine said, the class is hugely expensive. But everybody that's been to it says it's awesome, an awesome experience. It's been described as yoga for the brain, and I love yoga, and so being able to do Zentangle and relax my brain, I truly enjoy it. If I had a very stressful or upsetting day, or just a very busy day, I get the same relief as if I'd gone to yoga class as if I do a Zentangle. So it's great. And I believe a long time ago when I first started showing just some very basic things, even some of the naysayers who said, oh, I could never, ever, ever do that, were doing it along with me and decided, well, maybe that's not so bad, you know. So I think it's one of those things that anybody can do. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Zentangle is, you know, just a very freeing, very relaxing experience. Traditionally, what they do is you have a little 3.5 by 3.5 tile, or basically like think bar coaster white tile, okay? And you draw a little tangle on it, or a little string on it is what they call it, a doodle, and then you fill in your holes. So for instance, in this case, I did, you know, some rather curvy things to the top and the bottom, and then I filled them in, or I made little borders around them and just doodled. Enjoyed myself doodling. Thanks, Bev. And then like this one, you had the opportunity to, you know, just do curves and lines and borders and shapes and just have fun. I love these. These are so much fun. Mine, as I got further along, you will see a lot of this kind of pattern. It's got 6 spaces in it. It's inspired by Icarus. And a lot of stuff you will start here being called inspired by. Icarus is the pattern, and if you see like in that top left how it has the dark shapes, and down in the bottom middle it has the dark shapes. Well, imagine that with all dark shapes and then all the lines, and there's no white space. It just does lines like it does down in the bottom right. If you go to my blog, or I'll post my blog link. If you go to my blog, I participate rather often in a challenge called I Am the Diva, and she does a weekly Zentangle challenge. And one day our challenge was to do Icarus, And in doing Icarus, we got to play with it. And I fell in love with Icarus. And you'll see my very first Zentangle on my blog that I did with Icarus, where the whole thing is nothing but Icarus. Welcome, Raven. Shortly after I started doing Zentangle, my stuff became more and more figurative and landscapey like. I love this one. These are probably my favorite tangles in this Zentangle. You see me do things like this over and over again. And it's very fun. And I love this one because it reminds me, this one speaks to me because I am first and foremost a rock hound, and I love to dig in the dirt, and it makes me feel like the sedimentary layers in the dirt and the earth and stuff. And then I'm a gardener, and so, you know, I've got my fun little plants and love to be out in the sun, and so it's a lot of fun. This is where my Zentangle has led me. And thank you, Christine. I appreciate it. I really do. I think I've shown all of those. And then, of course, those of you who recognize my actual blog button is a Zentangle that I did of a sunflower. I love, love, love sunflowers. And so all of these have been done on paper. And I'm going to show you how simple it is to start. And then go to my blog, because on my blog, at the very bottom, I have a whole section on Zentangle links. It includes the Zentangle link to the origins of Zentangle and their blog. And the originators of Zentangle are constantly bringing in extra thingies. What do you call them? Tangles. And then also it has a link to a place called tanglepatterns.com. And there are many, many artists. I'm thinking Sandra Strait. I'm thinking Susie McNeil. That they're always, always, always coming up with even more Zentangles. There's another lady, and right off the top of my head, and I'm going to kick myself later, I can't think of her name, that does fantabulous work and is always creating new things. Well, as you can guess, I couldn't stop Zentangling on paper. So one of the first attempts I ever did on a tile was to do an initial tile. And of course, you can see Icarus made its way into this one. And I love that. And initially tonight, I was going to kind of show how to do tangling on a tile again. But I changed my mind. And the reason I changed my mind is because I did already give you a video on tangling on a tile. And I didn't want to repeat myself for those of you who are familiar with what I do. And I didn't want to, you know, hi, Mommy. I didn't want to bore those who are tired of seeing me tangle on a tile. And one of the things I got to do when I was guest host of a show was to tangle on a Zentangle, or do a Zentangle on a digi-stamp. Well, I didn't ask permission of the person who created the stamp. And they did not want their stamps shown in that way because they were afraid that people would expect all the doodles on there, and that was not what they were getting. They were getting just, you know, the simple little pattern. And so I was asked not to demonstrate that. So I asked for that to be removed. And so I haven't done that again, and there is not a video for you to see that. So I wanted to show you some things I've been thinking about. And so this time I asked the digital artist, can I Zentangle on your digi-stamp? And she said, why, yes, you can. And so I have picked one of Amanda's new releases that I think would be awesome, Zentangled. And so we're going to do that tonight. And then also, this is not being done on tap, but you could do it on tap, and I want to play with it and kind of get it worked out in my brain first, how I want it to go. So I'm going to show you doing something that I'm going to eventually iron onto my daughter's shirt. And so what I'm going to do is do a school shirt for her with the words of her school, which is Central Elementary, and do their little logo. And then, you know, when I get that the way I want it, then I'll reprint it on the tab the correct way. Because I think you have to print it backwards because it's a word. And then get it all worked out and put on a shirt for her with the TAP. I think that will be a lot of fun. For those of you who are not familiar with TAP, TAP is transfer artist paper. And my friend Amanda has done some awesome things with TAP, including tapping on her shoes and just cool stuff. So I want to do some of those things. And then one other project that I gotten a lot of comment on is a wood project that I did for my mother. And I did this as part of a blog hop. And I don't have the actual project anymore because I gave it to my mom. It was a present for her. And I think she likes it. She said it was all right. But, you know, you can tangle on wood and all that kind of stuff. So I have a little wooden box. I'm going to show you kind of how to prep that and get that ready so that you can tangle on a box, because different kinds of tools and stuff, and you want to do it properly. So does anybody have any questions? Because we got a lot of stuff to cover. Is everybody ready to tangle? Okay. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Today is my mommy and daddy's anniversary. How many years have you been married today, Mommy?
Longer than 30.
For this anniversary. Because Mommy and Daddy have 2 anniversaries. Their first, yes, 93 years, that's right. Their first anniversary is September 9th, which is my mother-in-law's birthday. And their second anniversary is October 12th, which is my father-in-law's birthday, correct? Yes. And so that is why she's been married 93 years. Because I'm 42, you do the math. So, married to the same man. They didn't get divorced and get remarried. They just married twice because they're cool like that. So, all right. I am going to move my camera down and we'll get started on doing some tangling. And I want to share something with you before we tangle, because these are just cool and you want to see them, I promise. Okay? Is that not so cool? Isn't that pretty? Doesn't that make you think of Zentangle?
Well, I think it's in the house.
Or that one? You have to wait, Fab. You just have to wait. Hi, Kitty. Welcome.
Hi, Kitty. Welcome.
Guys, if I'm missing you, just yell out and I will say hi. And then this one, sorry it's messed up. It's not really messed up. He's just well loved. This is one of my favorite stamps that when I do scrapbooking with the scouts and stuff, and we make cards for Christmas for the nursing home. This is one of their favorites to use. And then look at these little guys. This line of stamps is called Outlines. And they're available at Outlines Rubber Stamp. Outlines plural. rubber stamp, singular.com. And what I fell in love with when I first found these is this stamp. And this stamp works with these stamps. And then there's a great big giant one that's a grid. Thank you, Molly. And you make some of the most amazing things. And like these hearts, the heart punch, there's a heart punch that's this size. And what they do with some of these stamps is they take and they stamp the big one with embossing powders and with on a solid color, and use the gold embossing powder and emboss it so that you get this raised image, and then stamp it again with a lighter color and a darker color so that you have this kind of yes, exactly, Fab. They have mandala stamps too. So you have a whole bunch of them, and you cut and layer. And you know how I love to layer people, right? And you cut and layer and makes the most beautiful, beautiful cards. And then these fit into the squares of the little ones. So like this is almost 4 of these squares, this big one. And so the big one has, I think, is 9 squares maybe. And so you could do something where you have, hearts or stars in a square and like this. They are awesome, awesome, awesome. Love their stamps. And then they started doing more figurative ones like this. And there's a card on my blog where I stamped this and embossed it. And then I did glitter. Glitter with my little bitty quickie pen over the whole thing. It was awesome. I have not used this one yet. Look, she's empty. She's fresh rubber, waiting to be stamped. I haven't used her yet. I haven't decided what I want to use her on, but she's very pretty. And of course this one is, well loved. But again, and another thing they started doing with this is blinging it. So where all the circles are, you put little bling crystals in there, and I'm all over the bling. So these are just very, very cool stamps. Love them. And they look very Zentangly to me. It looks like the person who did these stamps probably was a pre-tangler, if you ask me. Now this stamp you've also seen me use several times. This is an Impression Obsession stamp. But again, it looks very tangly to me. Yeah, and seeing quilling. I see quilling in them too, Molly. I really do. And especially this one. I think this one would be very beautiful quilled. Especially with the fad seems to be now to layer the long strips in depth so that they look really, you get this curve going in there. Oh, beautiful. So yes, I can see quilling, I can see tangling. I think these are awesome. I just want to share this with you because I think they're pretty. And these are the kinds of things I buy, so obviously, tangling would be something that appealed to me. Let's do something really quick with our box so we can set it aside. What I'm doing is I've got some just gold. Is this gold? Yes, this is antique gold folk art metallic paint. And I love this because I can get a nice thin coat and it looks really pretty, but it's also not too dark to that you can't enjoy the parts of the wood. It doesn't cover the wood up. And I want to paint the wood just a little bit. And you could use a sealer. You could probably use Mod Podge or something to that effect. Or the Liquitex matte gel medium or something that will dry. And the reason you want to do this is because if you don't do this, what you're going to use to Zentangle with is going to bleed through your project. And so you need to seal the wood because you would doodle on here.
I want your brother to hurry up.
And I'm going to go on the sides. And I don't know that I'd really tangle on the sides, but I want to go on the sides. I do too. I like how it shows through. Isn't that cool? And that's why I like this really a whole lot. Hang on just a minute with me, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, and I'm doing just a light coat with a sponge, okay? And these metallics, these come in a lot of different colors. And I like their golds. This antique gold is a little bit darker. But there's some like a more just a gold that's got a yellower tone to it. Yeah, folk art paints are really, really yummy. The Plaid people knew what they were doing when they kept those puppies around. The other neat thing about folk art paint is they have an artist, what they call an artist quality paint. And so if you've done any kind of fine art painting, when you talk about, using alizarin crimson and Grumbacher, well, no, Grumbacher is actually an actual color. Probably not Grumbacher red, but cadmium red, cadmium yellow, ultramarine blue, all that kind of stuff. They actually have those kinds of colors, and they have a little bit of extra pigment in them, I think, because they seem to have a really nice dark coverage. And we've used them a lot. I used them teaching a color theory class with our Cub Scouts, doing how to mix colors, and they were very, very good for that because mixing colors, you can do a decent job with red, yellow, blue, just straight out of a tube. But if you have artist colors, you can get the right ones and do like a warm theory palette or a cool theory palette, and really get as close to what you would learn in a good painting class as possible. And I loved it because I could teach them how to mix a black with those colors, and to make some good umbers and browns with them, and they had a lot of fun. That was a great teach, doing color theory and art with my wee belows. So, and doing a thin coat like this also, see, I'm getting a little on my hands, but not too bad. Not like Amanda with her paper clay. Sorry, didn't mean to not have the box. I'm having to open this and do this because I forgot to take the plastic off, and I'm not going to bore you people with taking the plastic off because you don't want me to, I promise you. It doesn't look very neat, Amanda. So, but it looks like a lot of fun. And Booga almost looked just like you after you're done with paper clay in your picture today. I like that it acts almost like a little stain, you know. Yes, Joy, I think wood sealer would work just as well for this. This is great, though, with working with kids, is because some wood sealers are not non-toxic, and this would be safe for kids. Okay. I'm not going to paint the inside right now because we're not going to be dealing with the inside. The box I made for my mom, I used some cheetah print fabric that was kind of fuzzy, had a little plushness to it, and that was awesome, and she really, really loved that. Yeah, the seal it for the grout, you're exactly right. My Aunt Joy does some awesome, awesome mosaics. She is one of the crafty people that encouraged me early on to be crafty. She's done all kinds of crafts. Fabric crafts and ceramics and sewing and the dollhouse. Oh my goodness. So that's what I've done. Gone over this with a little bit of gold. And the inside, I did not. So I'm going to let this dry. Have this over here in front of my little mini fan so it can get dry. If you wanted to, you could wash your brush out. I'm not going to, because when I buy my brushes, I buy them where they're 12 for $1. And, yeah, we're throwing that puppy away, okay? So what I want to share with you is some tools. Now, you've heard me talk ad nauseum about Bic markets, but these are really, really great. This is the tool of choice for doing tangles on tiles, and you can also use them on wood. If you look on my blog, I tangled on a boiled egg. Everybody was crushed that I tangled on a boiled egg and not a hollowed out egg, because, yeah, the bad boy got eaten. So I took lots of pictures. It was really pretty and it was really tasty. But anyway, but Bic markets are really, really good for tangling on any kind of non-paper surface. You could use them on paper too, but they're not quite as friendly. However, I'm going to use them for my demo, so you can see the tangles, because I'm going to draw them really big. And then when I move over to tangling inside a drawing and inside the words, we'll go back to regular pens. But for just demoing and showing you a couple of the different tangles, we're going to use these, okay? Now, what I'm going to show you here, this is a set of pigment liner, fine liner pens from Staedtler. Staedtler is probably one of the most amazing pen people on the planet. And what we do, these come in like 4 different sizes. You can get them, this one comes in a 1 millimeter, a 0.3 millimeter, a 0.5, and a 0.7. Mommy carries in her store, I believe, a 0.5 and a 0.8. in the Millennium pens. And I like the Millennium pens too. They're very, very nice, and they do last a very long time. What I obviously like about this is it has a little box. And when you're using it, you can set it like this, and it's so cute. Millennium pens don't do that, but Styler pens do, and they're just darn cute, people. So, first I want to show you some tangles. So let me get my gloves on, because we're going to do handwork, and I'm done painting. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. Or damn.
No, Amanda, I have not tried the plaid wood stains, but I bet they would work too. Yes, my Kermit gloves. You could, if you have skinny Sharpies, I think they would work just fine, Molly. I'm addicted to Bic. Stop. 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 Go. Sorry, my child has decided now is the time to cut paper with the guillotine cutter. Okay. Like I said, one of the first things you would do is make a or like a little doodle. I'm not going to do that first because let's first talk about some different simple tangles you could do. Tonight, I'm not going to bore you with names. If you want to know names, you can look them up. A really fun exercise to do is to do a tangle with your name and go to tanglepatterns.com and look up a tangle to represent each letter of your name and do a whole Zentangle with that. Why the gloves? The gloves help with my hands, Molly. If I'm doing a whole lot of handwork, they are compression gloves, and so they help with my joints and stuff and make it feel better. I've been working lots of hours at work, and so I do a lot of typing at work, and then when I come home and do a lot of crafting, cutting, pen work or whatever, it just makes things happier. I try not to paint with them because I always get them dirty anyway, but I was trying not to be too dirty today. One of my favorite things, I love circles, so one of my favorite things to do is to do tangles that have circles in them. And you can do all kinds of things with tangles with circles. You can make them different shapes. Okay? And bring them really little down. And kind of cluster them around. You can make bigger ones and put stuff in them. Well, that you can't even see the different things, so I'm just making them a little bit bigger. I think I'm going to zoom in a little bit so y'all can see that better, guys. Sorry. That's hilarious, isn't it? Is that better? So, you would just do a circle, and then a line, and some dots, like that. Or more dots. However you want it. Or you can do them in combination with each other. Okay? Or you can take a circle. Circles are so much fun because you can do so many things with them and make a spiral inside of him. And they don't have to be perfect circles. Do my circles look perfect? They're not perfect. They are just circly goodness. And see, aren't these fun? If you start putting a whole bunch of them together. Circles can become so many neat things. You can make little buds with them. You can make little flowers with them. And the next best thing to circles, people, are dots. Yeah, I said it, dots. You can make big dots. You can make little dots. Dots rock, okay? And, you know, you can have dots combined with bigger circles. I mean, it's limitless. Limitless what you can do with a circle. So you could do a whole Zentangle with nothing but a circle. If you look at some of mine, like look at this one, I have circles and lines. Oh, marbles. I forgot about marbles. But you see circles all over the place in this. Circles can become little flower faces. Just very, very fun. So, like marbles, you can do this and then add some little lines to him to make him marbly. There. So I like circles. And then you saw the one thing where I had drawn lines down the page and then added circles to it. And some of the circles were hollow and some were colored in. Circles can become a border. You can, if you have a line, say you have this line and you want circles to border it, you can just, you know, draw them along the edge like that. Okay.
And this could be the rock.
Or you can do
This. Which is the rock.
so. What do you think about circles, guys? Are y'all feeling circly? I'm feeling very circly today. I love circles. The other neat thing, and this is the math nerd in me, is you can do all kinds of stuff with grids. And you don't have to be precise about your grids. As you see, I am not. And the reason I made a big grid is because I want to show you a couple of different things. One of the easiest things to do is to draw a little square inside your square and do that. Or draw a little square. So if you had a whole bunch of these, it's fun when you have 4 of them doing it. You start getting an illusion of the little squares, right? Another thing to do with little squares is to draw a line and make them all do like that. And then you start getting the illusion of little boxes. Yes, like a little cube tunnel.
I write my name on there.
Okay. And so you can make all of your cubes have a square kind of have a primitive little band thing going on. Yeah, kind of Greeky. No, Bev. I've seen Fab do some Zentangle. As I taught him, it's not that scary. And one of the easy, fun things to do is to take and have your lines go this way and this way. And then come back. And you have little basket weaves. Yes. And that's exactly it. You can do it very simply and get some really awesome results. And you don't have to be, I mean, I'm not sitting here going, oh my gosh, my lines, they're not straight. Oh, I have to start over. No, you're not. I mean, the whole idea is to do that little 3.5 by 3.5 tile in like 15-20 minutes. It's a sit down, take a load off, you know, rest your brain before you go to bed kind of a thing. It's when you start getting into projects and decide, well, you know, I really need letters of my children's name across the wall. And, well, let's Zentangle and let's make the letters be, I don't know, 6 inches tall. That's when it kind of gets crazy. But, you know, so you see little squares. Very simple. We did circles. We did squares. And if you can draw triangles, you obviously can do other little Zentangles with triangles. Now, I'm going to draw a big triangle because the cool thing about triangles is you can start on one side and remember which side you started on. So we're going the side closest to us or the side to our right to the left. Is that right? See, I already forgot. Shoot. Big to small, big to... Oh, no. I was supposed to go this way. See? Sometimes you even mess up. You have to think a little when you tangle. It just takes practice. And some of them are so fun. Like, I like this one. This one cracks me up. I don't know why it cracks me up. It just does. You know? It's funny. Okay, let me show you Icarus because, you know, I love her and everybody should be in love with Icarus. Icarus is very simple. And the possibilities of it are so much fun. Okay. Basically, it has 6 sides, okay? I know, it looks like a little... It's just cute. And they have those, Dawn, those little rice-looking shapes, little swaddled baby things. They'll have them all, you know, in a spot, and they're too cute. Now, pick a side. right or left, and draw a line. Notice I didn't draw it all the way down on this side. I only drew that side. And so I want to do it on the left. So I'm going to do it like this, and like this, and like this. Okay? And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to make a series of S's, okay? Just one long S. And alright. And notice it didn't have to be and I turn it each time because I want to. And notice I start on the right side all the way, not the left side. So, oops, sorry, threw that off the edge. I start on the right side on this all the way. If you did it on the left, do the left side. You know, if you did them this way, do them that way all the way. Sorry, guys, didn't mean to slide off. So, you know, whatever side you pick it and stick with it. Now, the cool thing about this is the original Icarus, I believe, had these colored in solid. Okay, and then they went in and they went around it like this. And then they came back and they went around it again. And then the next time around, they started making it be more, you know, see here I didn't go all the way to the edge of those curves. And so this really appeals to me on so many levels. It appeals to me because it looks like layers of like a rock. There's some beautiful rocks like this. It appeals to me because one of my favorite things as a kid to do was to cut out letters of my name and then lay them on another piece of construction paper and cut around that, and then lay that on a piece of construction paper and cut around that, and lay that on a piece of construction paper and keep cutting around that and then around that and around that. He had wings of feathers and held together with wax. Yeah, I think so. I agree. Because when he went up towards the sun, he melted, didn't he? Okay, so that would be traditional, and you would do that around the whole shooting match. Well, let's say you wanted to instead make these more interesting. And you wanted to put little feathers on them, or little balls, or little, you know, you could do something like that. That's always an idea. And then you could then go on with your curves. Only make bigger ones if you wanted to. You can get so many little different things out of these. You could color just parts of it in. Oops, I meant to color that one. like that. So, I mean, it reminds me of all the things that are happy to me. Like, it looks like the pies for Trivial Pursuit. You know, you've got your 6 pies that you have to collect. It reminds me of that. And then within these rings, oh my goodness, there's so many things you could do here. Because you could come in here and do little lines. Like little eyelashes. Well, it's funny that you say that, Vince. That looks like black and white. But they are doing all these things with color now. With this. And one of our challenges one time was to take another color to do like blue or something, and to do our tangle with blue. And on my when I'm not recording or broadcasting, if you look at the slideshow that I have, you'll see a blue Zentangle that I did, and it was pretty cool doing them with blue. Just saying. And you know, you could do the little lines, you could do little dots here. Sorry, we're getting wound up over here, guys. Okay, I mean, so, you know, there's your dots coming back in. The neat thing about Staedtler, where'd I go with them, is not only do they have these super yummy black pens. I'm trying to find where I went with them. But they have a very awesome set of colored pens as well. And apparently I hid them from myself because, oh, here they are. Uh-oh. One's missing already. I bet I know who has it. They have these. I'll put them down. Samantha, do you know where my purple pen went? Pink one. You're right, pink. Anyway, they have itty bitty nib like that. Why, thank you, dear. She was drawn with the pink one, so the pink one is now back home. Pink, see. Come on. There we go. So they're little bitty. So, yes. Some people do pencil shading, and, oh, they look so awesome. And they use the pencil shading with the stumps, and to die for. These markers are the Staedtler Tri Plus, and they're 0.3 millimeter. They're Staedtler, Pam. I got mine at my favorite place on the planet, besides my mommy's store. I got them at Staples. So, you're welcome. So, okay. Let's talk a little bit about some borders. And then we'll be ready to go play with stuff. Yes, 0.3 is your favorite. It's my favorite too. Okay, we did a few borders here with the dots. Very simple to do is 2 skinny lines together. And then color. and not color, and color, and not color, and color, and not color. If you're afraid to just go at it like that, you could break it up yourself and then color. But my problem with this, when I do it like that, is that I accidentally skip one and then I have to have a long one. You can obviously do dots. Again, dots always look fun. Now, those look very kind of sophisticated-y, you know. Night vents. You can also take two lines and make them very playful and not at all uniform. And curve that line just a little bit. Instead of making it straight, make little U's in your line, like that. And night fab, night vents, and it becomes what they call Beetlejuice. And you keep dressing this one up. You can make it have little curls outside, add little dots to it, and it's very fun. So those are just some simple things that can get you started doing this. So if nobody has any questions, I want to change pens here, and I want to show you what fun starting with an actual image. Oh, well, here, hang on. Before we move on, let me explain real quick what normally happens. Normally, you would have a square tile. Like, let's say, let's pretend this is your square tile, okay? So normally you would have a square tile. You would take with your pencil, not with your marker. I'm doing it with a marker so you can see it. And put like 4 square corners dots, and then just very casually and freely connect these. This does not at all have to be perfect. It does not have to be straight. You don't need to get your ruler out and do it. Just very, you know, artsy. And then you can draw a doodle of some sort. You can draw a big L. You can, you know, make a doodle as simple as an 8. If you can't think of something to draw, they even have patterns that you can download. And then you would start coming in here and filling in your spaces with things. If y'all have caught Will's show, you will know that he loves to Zentangle. And one of his favorite things is to add bird imagery into his Zentangles. And it's just super cool what he does with his birds of prey and stuff. So, very simply, your little tangle can get all carried away, and you can come in here and maybe on this space down here, you want to do some grid work. And when you're doing this at home, you know, slow down to make it some of these a little neater. Yeah, exactly, Pam. If you make a mistake on it, just do another little design over it to cover it up so you don't notice. Message received. And then Okay.
Message received.
Oh, Fab, goodness. Fab says goodnight to everyone. Fab has a new toy. I try to have my phone on in case I do something really heinous and go offline, and that way Amanda or my mommy can, text me and say, "Yo, you're offline." And Fab has a new toy, and every time he texts me, my phone says, "Message received." So I've turned it on vibrate now, so now every time he texts me, it'll say, Zzz. So there you go. Thanks, Amanda. I appreciate it. So anyway, you get the idea. And like I said, circles, guys, they can become little flowers. You give them little eyelashes like this, and they become little flowers. So, that's just flowers and circles. So, you get the idea? Anybody have any questions on kind of the basics of what you would do when you start a Zentangle? Are y'all ready for something super uber cute? She's awfully big. I need to back out. Does everybody here subscribe to Amanda's newsletter? This is one of her new digis that she released this very September. Isn't it darling? This is her little witch turtle. Very, very cute. I know, Pam, I love tangling sunflowers. But for people who have, haven't done any real tangles or hadn't thought about where to start, and they want to, but they're not sure, and, are kind of freaked out about it, oh my goodness. Get a coloring book out, or buy a digi, and just don't share it with the creator unless the creator is Zentangle friendly, and enjoy making this into your own digi. Amanda, feel free to post a link where they can find these darling turtles. And I think the owls would work out really cute too. I think the owls would make awesome little Zentangle pieces. Post a link and maybe tell them if they wanted to buy just Witchy Poo, how much she would be. There's tons on the net about Zentangles, Pam. I'm going to use my Stidlers, my fine liners. This is the set that has the 4. And I think I'm going to start with her pieces of shell. I don't know if you've ever seen a turtle in real life. On the outside of the turtle, on the top part of his shell, and on the bottom of his shell, both is, it's almost like they have a Zentangle pattern of their own. And so I want to do that kind of on her shell belly. Pam, I noticed you asked how do we color them. One of my favorite ways to color them is with Big Markets. But you can also use chalks, you can use matte pencils, colored pencils, you can use anything, really. Watercolors, watercolor pencils, any of that. Yeah, you can paint them. Colored pencils look amazing on them, actually, Pam. And all I'm doing here is mimicking the way the shell actually grows. Because it's probably my favorite part of the turtle, is turning him over and looking at his shell. I don't think he's too keen on it, but I enjoy it. Absolutely, Molly. I think. Joy, I wonder how you could put him on glass. They're darling. All of them, Joy. I mean, her owls are so cute. Love the owls. Okay, now you could leave her like this, okay? Or you could go in and decide, well, this, I want to do this too. Yeah, I would, yeah. You like it plain? I'm kind of committed to doing this now to it, Pam. Sorry. Yeah, past the point of no return. Maybe it's because it's so stripy now, so if I came back in with some little dots, not more stripies, but, you know, make it not so, you know, black and white stripe, but add some visual breakup to it. Maybe that would be a little better. I think I need to do a Witchy Poo bookmark too, out of felt. I think she would be super cute with felt. Is that better, Pam? Or would that make it worse? Yes, better? Yes, worse? Okay, good. Like I said, there's tons of places to find tangles to do, but you can always just make them up as you go along. Or, you know, like if you have a favorite one, like Icarus is one of my favorites, you know, make what they call tangulations, variations on a theme, basically, and just kind of fill in as you want and make it really about what you like. Now here, I want to and all I did there, let's see if I can zoom in that one for you a little bit, is I made triangles out of the side of her shell, and I made it go right and left. Okay. Is Joy still in the room? I like that design too. Okay. I was telling somebody the other day and they didn't believe me. But before you could buy your clear holiday balls to craft with, there was the old foiled balls. You could get all that mirrored stuff out. And My aunt's Christmas tree is always a thing of beauty. It's so coordinated and so put together, and she spends a lot of time decorating it and making it look just perfect. And one year, she took some ratty old balls that she had, got them all cleaned up and clear, and she said, I want to show you something. And she took popcorn kernels and stuck them in the ball. Put the ball in the microwave. Now, the metal wasn't on it. So it was a clear ball, popcorn kernels in the ball. Turn the microwave on and pop the popcorn in the ball. It was the darndest thing and uber cool. And I should have known then that she was like an avant-garde in doing, ornament art. Because, look at all the stuff they do with clear balls now, Joy. Isn't that great? That was one of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite memories of crafting with my aunt, because she had some of the neatest ideas. And she had those little balls on her tree. It is very wild cool. It was always fun to go to Aunt Joy's house, because she would say, let me show you what I'm working on, and then we would get to work on it. She was the one that convinced me I needed to have Schwann's delivered, if nothing else, just to have the cool boxes that the cordon bleu came in. Yeah, I know, you can buy clear balls now, because you could use those boxes for really cool things to store your fabric and stuff in. So, but what, Pam? Not having popcorn and balls? I think Booga would think it was fabulous. It could be a special ornament just for Booga. It'd have to go up high, of course. But, Okay. So we have her broom partially done. Okay, I want to change to a skinnier pen, because I want to do some circles, but I don't want them to be overwhelming. And if I did them with a bigger pen, they would be really dark. Looks like tattoo hands. Actually, that's some more of that, isn't it? There. Yeah, I think Bev's talking about the watermark. Just to keep people from stealing stamps after you do the work. The watermark, if people try to download them and use them, they'll have Amanda's name stamped on them. And I need to do that to more and more of my pictures and photographs, so nobody tried to steal your artwork. So, in hindsight, I might have done her arms a little differently. Because it starts kind of blending. But I don't know. I kind of like it too at the same time. Very turtley, you know. Night, Dawn. Feel better, delicate flower. So, thank you, Dawn. And, you know, treat her hair the same way. Or, you know, do waves in it. Yeah. I think with the hands, in retrospect, I would probably redo them and do them lighter, kind of like I did her hair, only lighter. So, the other thing is I could go darker so that her hands are really dark, but, you know. Either way. So, can you see how that can be a lot of fun? Let me back up a little again. I think you kind of get the idea of tangling on a turtle. That's how your granddaughter draws hair. Cool. So, I mean, if you wanted to, in her little cheeky bones, you could do, you know, lollipop swirls or whatever. I don't know, further out, visually I see circles, so I think it might be okay. But you can do all kinds of fun stuff. Thanks, Molly. I think for her ribbon, I think she's going to have a polka dot ribbon. And then I think her hat needs to have some stars. And I'm just doing a regular 5-pointed star and coloring it in. And then the other thing you can do is extend off of your drawing. And add, you know, a star on the end. So, and then I would probably, I'm going to switch pens to a little bit bigger pen, so my dots will be just super easy to do. And I don't have to spend time coloring my dots to make them bigger. This is that 0.7 pen. And I don't always go in and do a lot with him, unless I'm doing something very, that needs a lot of heavy line. But he is great for dotting. And then underneath, I'm not going to do stars, but I'm just going to do some random dots. And since this is the inside of her cape, I just had to brainstorm while I'm doing this, Amanda. I think what would be really cute with this is, now that I've dolled her all up, is to take some crystal lacquer and the colored colors and like go over, especially, you know, with the yellow and the green, and make her all shiny, but have all the patterning still show through. I think that would be lots of fun. Right now, I think I'm going to leave her face. I like her face just kind of plain. I'm going to leave her shoes, because her shoes would need to be shiny red. So, what do y'all think? You like her? I think she looks fun, kind of tangled. I may finish her with some with the crystal lacquer, like we were talking about, and get her all fancied up. Crystal lacquer comes in colors like this up here, and the shiny bows are colors, and I think like this green and then the yellow would be just too cool on her shell and stuff. So yeah, I know. Cause see how, look how inside the bow it's all nice and shiny. See the shine? but you can still see the detail of the stamp of the bow. And so you would be able to still see the detail of the Zentangle with the colored crystal lacquer through it. I think I may do that, and just for giggles and fun, because I think she looks like fun. So I love that. Thank you, Amanda, for letting me do that with your Digi-Stamp. I really appreciate that. And then the other thing is to do a little tangle for the little girl for a shirt. My Funny Fancy Pants came to me today because she needed a Yellow Jackets shirt, and her teacher told her she needed to wear one. And she had gotten kind of ill with me because the night before, in her folder was an order form for a high school Yellow Jackets shirt. Well, one, she's not in high school, so she really doesn't need a high school Yellow Jacket shirt. And two, she has a class shirt that says Central Elementary Little Bees. So I made an executive decision as a mom and said, no, you don't need a Yellow Jacket shirt. And so she was not happy with Mom. But in the morning, she woke up and decided that since I was not going to allow her to have said shirt, that she would be happy to wear the shirt she has. And so she did. And the teacher said that was perfect. So that will do, right? Okay, so, and the only reason that I just drew this little simple bee is because I could not find clip art that I liked that was a simple little bee. Because that's all I really wanted, was something like that I can come in and draw little tangles in. This font, however, is a free font. If you go to dafont.com, that's DAFONT.com, you can find that. It's called Basic Font, and it's free. So no reason not to have a good chunky font that you can just fill in. Some fonts, you can tell it in your programs to outline them, and they can do something similar to this if you set the font color to white and the outline to black, if you want something more sophisticated and fancy. Also, if you have the old CK Success font album things, then you can, thank you, Molly, exactly, you can, doctor up some of those, make it look like a football font, or, just different things. I like the basic font. It's very simple. I just made a text square on my publisher, did Central Elementary, made it be basic font, and made it be, probably that's about 72 points, I would guess. It's rather large, but for what I want it for, I want it to fit across the front of her shirt, so it will be perfect for that. I want to zoom in a little bit because I'm going to show you, I want to Zentangle my bee and do a couple of the letters with you. So, there we go. Anyone have any questions? I'm going for my bee with a smaller pen for a couple of reasons. I want to make him a cute little bee. It's for a girl's shirt. So I'm going to put some little scallops along my bee's little sides there. And that thing that I did around the shell, I want to do that again on here. So, when I was practicing what I was going to do him with, I saw him done with this, and I really liked it. And then this. So, and that's all really I'm probably going to do for my little bee. I'm going to give him some eyelashes. Or not eyelashes, but eyebrows. And some little antenna. He probably doesn't really have antenna in real life. But in my head, he does. So, that makes him kind of look like a little mean bee. But that's okay. So, for my letters, I'm probably going to use this 3-point to do my doodling with. And you could fill this with anything. If you wanted to do like a floral theme, you could go across the whole, let's see, it stops at the R. You could go across this whole thing make it look like grass, okay? And then come in with, you know, like that one pole that I really like to do. Make it look like it's a bamboo pole right here. You know, and kind of leafy. You could have some little flowers. Very simple with just lines, circles, and dots, right? Okay. You could have just a little ladybug. I'm sorry, Molly. It's just some little zigzag lines. Yeah. Pam, it just comes, I'll be honest, what it comes from is when I was in, oh yeah, a little mushroom. That's a good idea, Pam. Or Christine. What it comes from is I used to take a class when I was in high school with where you draw with the left side of your brain, and it's so fun to do things in a non-traditional way, to see them look like they're supposed to when they're upright, you know. And one of the exercises in class was to look at something and draw it upside down. And it was really cool because it forced you to use your whole brain instead of your photographic part of your brain. It made you use your mathematical side of your brain too. And you know, people don't learn how to do that very often. But that's one of the things I took away from that class, was how I could look at something and take care of it upside down. And you know, sometimes sometimes doing something upside down, you get a whole new perspective of it that you don't get right side up. And you say, oh, that's, and so when I do this upside down, to me, it's all about the shape. And that's the way I teach drawing to smaller kids, is look at things, break them up into shapes, and then go from there. And when Will was in 2nd grade, I had the luxury of going in to, going into his class and teaching them about art, but teaching it with a math bent. And so what that was, like when we did color theory, we also learned about fractions. Because, red and yellow, 1/2 of each makes orange. So 2 halves make a whole. And then we learned about building, about how to do all of our shapes and shade and do it 3-dimensionally. But then I took them and, we said, okay, what do you want to draw? And everybody named what they wanted to draw. And so I went and I found them a picture online, just a black and white picture. And I said, okay, now let's look at our picture that we're going to draw. Let's break it up into shapes. And when I showed them how to look at it with circles, squares, cylinders, cubes, cones, and that kind of thing, they all could draw it. Whereas before they're like, I don't know. Will is now in 6th grade. I don't get the opportunity to go into the class as often as I did when he was in 2nd grade. I'm glad I have a Sam, because I will definitely be, as much as they let me, going in and doing stuff like that. But I still have those kids in his 2nd grade class come up to me and thank me and tell me, that their passion for drawing or whatever started when I came in and taught them how to see. And that's just basically what I told them. I said, I'm going to show you how to see, because you look at stuff and you don't think about what shape it came from or how it, developed. And by learning how to see, you can draw. So I think that's kind of fun. I like the little scene. Now, if you didn't want to do the little scene, you could make it very tangly as letters. I really kind of like the little scene. Little scene is kind of growing on me, because I could see it also being like kindergarten stuff, because it's our kindergarten class. And you could have lots of little, things from around their school. But we're not doing things from around the school. Down here, I want to show you that you could. I wanted to do one of my other favorite tangles that I hadn't got a chance to do yet, which is the stripy line one. Let's see. This one. Ooh, here, let me show you. Right there, the stripes in the middle. That is such a fun one to do. I love that one. Yeah, Bev, I mean, in my opinion, showing them something positive to do, and being positive with them, and being excited with them, is very important. I mean, even if it's as simple as saying, wow, you've really got a knack with your cursive. I mean, Will's printing is scary at times. We've practiced and practiced and practiced. Sam's printing is amazing. And, Will's in 6th grade, and his printing is just, wow, awful. But he was doing some cursive for me just yesterday. It's beautiful. I mean, he has beautiful penmanship with cursive. And I think part of it is he slows down, and he really thinks about it. Whereas in printing, he doesn't. He can't be bothered. But I was telling him, I said, I bet you would be really good at calligraphy like your father. Because my husband, again, serial killer kinds of handwriting. But he can calligraphy like no man. And he is just awesome at it. And so Will's like, well, what's calligraphy? So, wait and see for Will doing calligraphy in the near future, because he's really good at it. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do those lines. I'm using the number 3. I'm going to draw a series of lines. And I'll come back in a minute and decide which are going to be fat lines, which are going to be skinny lines, which are going to be colored. Okay, so I drew my lines. Oh, Pam, teaching them how to do quilts is awesome. Will went to clothing camp this summer, and one of the things they did was a recycle project, and the recycle project was they took some quilts, or not quilts, excuse me, they took shirts that were from the sheriff's office, and they cut them up. Okay, guys, I just went in there with this 7. Okay, and all I'm doing on these 2 lines is going back over them a little bit, and then I'm going to come back in with the 1 and do a super skinny line there and there. Isn't that fun? Good night, Joy. Love you. Thank you for coming. And so there's the lines. Thank you. And guys, I forgot what I was saying, so I'm sorry. Between the lines and the other, somebody can remind me, I'll finish it. Let's see. I'll go to the E. And y'all know how I love circles. So I'm starting with the 7 on this. And the reason I started with the 7 is because I want to build up some big ones. Oh, we're going to camp. Clothing camp. Yes, thank you, Molly. They took the sheriff shirts. That's what I was talking about, sheriff shirts. They took the sheriff shirts and they cut them into squares for them with the pockets on them. And the sheriff shirts are pretty rough stuff. I mean, they're pretty heavy made and all that. And they showed them, because ladies from the Quilt Guild come and volunteer at this, and they showed them how to make them into quilts. And so they had to bring a flat sheet to camp. And so they, made a 9 square quilt or something like that, 9 or 12 square quilt. I think it was 9. With the sheriff shirts and the pockets, and they could use accent colors or strips, and then their backing, and they just tied it. They could do other kind of stuff, but they could just tie it with yarn, do a little simple tied quilt that they could put in the car to throw on the ground if you need to roll around or whatever. It was a great idea. It was a lot of fun, and Will now knows the basics to make a quilt, and he has commented that he would love to make a quilt. So, Pam, if you like volunteering your time to do stuff like that, see if there's a local 4-H that has, that kind of program for the summer, because it's a worthwhile thing for the kids, and it's always, they love working with the volunteers, and enjoying their time as well. So, there's some marbles. Let's see if we can get that to focus a little better. He loves to sew, Bev. He, I think And he can't decide what he wants to do for his September show. And one of the ideas he was throwing around is doing sewing. Come on. Are you gonna focus for us? We would love for you to focus for us. There you go. And you could go in more, and if you wanted to, with a smaller pen, and just do a real simple dot or doodle in there, just to kind of give it a little added something. But you don't have to. They could Zentangle on that little white cotton thing. That would be cool. So do you like this? Does this look like something y'all would like to do? You're hooked, Molly? It's so much fun and so easy. And so, relaxing. I was a little kind of antsy when I got on, and now I'm just all chilled out and relaxed, and 2 hours of Zentangle makes a happy life. Makes a happy world. Wow, that's really close up. It's a good thing I put some makeup on, isn't it? Not sure what the hair is doing tonight. That's okay. So, anybody have any questions? Let me tell you about something fun we have coming up. Next week is an odd week. It's not my week to do anything. But this month, one of my favorite charities, Operation Right Home, that I like to do cards for, to send to soldiers, so that the soldiers have a nice handmade card to send back to their loved ones in the States or wherever their loved ones are. They're celebrating their birthday. I believe it's their 4th birthday. And I and Molly and Vince and Fab and Amanda and Dawn and whomever else wants to jump on board. So if you're interested in coming and demoing or showing your stuff, we're going to have a special show on Saturday the 17th. And we've been kind of hinting around, and now we have this groovy, awesome logo made by none other than the fabulous Amanda Marks, and we're calling it World Card Making Live. And the reason that is this was inspired by Operation Right Home. Yes, I love the logo, don't you, Molly? This was inspired by Operation Right Home. And when we started talking about it, obviously Operation Right Home is about American soldiers and American card makers. But what we found is there's a group for Canada. I believe there's other groups in Europe doing the same thing. And so it kind of became, a world event because we wanted to include our crafters across the world. We will be sitting in, not on Ustream here, but we will be at Fab's Pad. We'll be at the Paper Mood Link to room. And he will have that set up so we can go in and show our crafts, demo card making, all that kind of fun stuff. It is going to start, I believe, at 2 p.m. my time, which is noon Dawn's time, the Saskatoon group. It is 3 p.m. Amanda time and Bev time. Oh, Molly time is 2 p.m. Molly 2 p.m. And then Fab time is 8 p.m. So, and if you live somewhere in between, do the math, because really y'all should be impressed that I was able to come up with those times. You really should. Now that we have our awesome, beautiful logo, I am going to stick that on my blog, make a big old humongous blog post, and stick it on my fan page, and I'm going to share it on my wall, share it everywhere. So as soon as you see that pop up from me, make it viral, people. Share the love. Amanda did a great job designing that, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Right now, we're looking 2.5, 3 hours. If it goes longer, that's just too cool. We'll just keep showing cards and sharing and caring and having a good old time. But the plan is, with the designers that we have coming in right now, we have at least enough airtime for, a good 2.5 to 3 hours. Molly is so excited she may do the first 3 hours by herself. I don't know. But and during this time, you'll learn about the different philanthropies, and you'll learn what is good and what is bad, like, no glitter, because we don't want to endanger our soldiers. And then, I'll have a list of what the calls are right now going on, because there is a call for, holiday cards until sometime in October, and then they'll have, a call for Mother's Day cards at a certain time, Father's Day cards at a certain time, Valentine's cards at a certain time. So I'll have a slide of that so you can have that information available to you. It's going to be fabulous. I think we have some people wanting to do some free digis and some other fun stuff. So, we want as many people who would like to come and join us. Might could get Will to do a card or Sam to do a card. I think they would enjoy doing that too. So, I don't know if y'all have seen some of Sam's fabulous work. She did do a digi card for Amanda back a couple of months ago, and she loves to make cards. She is super pumped about making cards, so probably see them here. And I'm probably sure we'll see a Booga or a Jillian as well. No, the soldiers, what happens, okay, here's what happens, Pam. We make the cards. We send them to what they call a shipper. And there are people designated as shippers all over the country. And the shippers send it, they know what the needs are of what's going on. And so they fill the box with the different types of cards. And they can be, thinking of you cards and just simple blank cards, kids' birthday cards, because a lot of those people over there are parents. And they've left their kids and they need cards for their kids. So they will bring them, a list of this is what we need. The shipper fills the order, and then they have cards that they are given. They're not sold. They're given to the soldiers, and the soldiers can write home to their loved ones and their friends and their family, and send our cards back. One of the things they ask is that you don't do handwritten sentiments because, wife gets a card from her honey. Here's a lady's handwriting in it. She kind of goes a little crazy. So you don't want to do that. So, they've been doing this for a couple of years now, and they've got it down to a science, and it's wonderful. Another cool event that I'm going to be participating in is a blog hop on October 1st, I believe it is. Yes, it's a Saturday. It's October 1st, and they'll be doing a hop for Operation Right Home. And Operation Right Home, their blog hops are about 130 strong or 140 strong. So it takes an entire weekend to go through the blog hop. And they've also streamlined that. Used to, they would have people tell stories about why they're doing it and what brought them to Operation Right Home and feeling they wanted to give to this cause. And so now, if you want to write a story like that, or a story about, maybe one of your relatives has been touched by this and whatever, you do that the day before. And you do all of your candy that you're going to give away, and there's usually a ton of giveaways on there. You do all that the day before, and then the actual day of the hop, so that you can move along, they want you to post your card, simple instructions. If you want to do a tutorial, do that another day, and then do a link to it or whatever. And they give you the first person before you and the last person, the next person after you, to just link to real quick. And they ask you to turn off your screen captcha, so you don't have to write all the codes in and whatnot. You can just leave a blog comment and go on. And they ask you to turn off your music so the blogs load faster for people. And I mean, they're slick on this. They have these rules in place so that this goes really fast. And even with that in place, the last one, it took me 3 days to go through. But it's worth it, because you see all these beautiful cards and you see all these beautiful crafters, and it's a lot of fun. You get a lot of traffic. So if you want to participate in that, the link, I believe, is on my link of blog hops over on the right hand side of my blog. So you can see that as well. If there's no other questions about Zentangle, I will finish off our show. I'd like to say thank you very much for coming. This show is, well, you need to shut the door.
I'm going to the bathroom.
This show will be on again in 2 weeks, and that will be the 23rd. We have the Operation Right Home birthday party / World Card Making Live on Fab's Paper Mood on the 17th of September. And then this month, we are also graced with an odd show. The odd show will be on the 30th of September. And it will be myself, Amanda, and Fab. And I believe we will be streaming from Amanda's room. But you can catch me on this channel too, but it'll all be going through that. So we have lots of shows this month, and I hope to see you all at all of them. Thank you for coming, and let me show you a link to